Every town has their own 4th of July story. From that weird guy lighting fireworks in the street, the house party that got out of control, the things somebody swears that they saw in the woods. In this special 4th of July episode, we're going to take a look at a few chilling events that occurred around this patriotic holiday. And with that, let's roll that intro. And yeah, I'm going here.
If your power goes out, remain.
Welcome to the graveyard.
Everyone in the theater went, oh!
No, I don't smoke cigs.
You can't just sit down and watch it.
Take personal security precautions to avoid becoming a victim of an attack.
This is the Supernaturals podcast on the SPN network.
Welcome back to another episode. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Hope you're getting ready to have a great weekend because it happens to be a Saturday this year.
Yes, it does. I'm going to the Rockies game.
Nice.
And watching the fireworks.
And I'll be hanging out with family coming in from out of state. So it's going to be a good weekend, I think.
Heck yeah.
Well, again, welcome back to another episode. We're your hosts, Jake and Cal. Getting a little spooky around the holiday once again.
Yep. This is so funny because this is our one holiday special, I guess, other than Halloween, that really fits into the season.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, because we usually do our holiday specials out of season, and they're pretty special little one-offs here and there throughout the months of.
It tied you guys over till next season.
Yeah, give you a little bit of us still.
Yeah, because
while we are
who
prepping,
doesn't love us?
While we're prepping
Just totally
for.
Kidding.
Are you kidding?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. You can be the judge, but.
If you don't like us, just send us hate comments, whatever. We'll take the engagement.
Rack it up.
Yeah.
No. Well, we got some special planned for you guys today. Couple stories that Cal is going to enlighten us with.
Yeah. So if you're in America, we just want to say, for our in-country listeners, we want to wish you good, happy Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
USA. But for our out-of-country listeners, we just want to wish you a happy summer. Exactly, or if you're in Australia, I guess a happy winter.
Something like that.
It's crazy. The seasons are all weird and stuff.
It depends on what side of the hemisphere you're on.
Exactly. Strange. So just a happy whatever you got going on.
Happy day.
And honestly, who doesn't love summer? Well,
it's a little hot.
I'll be real with you. Me, I don't. I hate summer. I do like the beginning of summer.
Mm-hmm.
I do hate the middle of summer, like those dog days that we're going to come up on here pretty soon where like every day is over 100 degrees.
It was so much better as a kid though, because you could like go to the pool with your friends or do other things.
You didn't have anything to do.
Now it's just like I got work and it's over 100 degrees every day.
Blast on the AC, and then you got to pay the AC bill. So you're like, oh gosh, here we go. When I was a kid, I could have just been like, Mom, can we turn the AC on?
They're like, no.
Yeah.
Cost too much.
I'm hot. Yeah. So, for me, it's kind of just like, give me fall. But I do think summer is pretty special. I think, sure, it's hot, but like there is a lot to enjoy.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
From
my birthday's in the summer. That's like one thing I look forward to.
Yeah.
Is at least I'm aging.
Yeah.
In a time of misery and sweat.
True. Yeah, totally.
I would rather have a fall birthday.
I was going to say, I'm happy I'm in October. It's the best month, but
a lot of people I know are in October and it's just
it's the best.
You're lucky because, well, besides these previous years where we didn't really have a fall.
I know this year it's supposed to be different, but we'll see. So, but yeah, anyway, so everybody, there's something to love about summer. Even me, I got baseball and stuff. I love grilling out.
Cookouts are great.
Yeah, from
good times.
Drinking cheap beer to those late summer nights that don't end till long past sundown, to the smell of burgers on the grill or a campfire in the mountains, trips to the beach or the lake, watching fireworks light up the night sky while surrounded by loved ones. Summer truly is and can be a magical time.
It can. You know, one thing that I always find so interesting is talking to my coworkers. A lot of them, they take a getaway trip actually around this time with their animals because their animals are petrified of the booms.
Yeah.
So they get away and just go have a weekend with their animals and pets or whatever and just kind of get away from the craziness that is the 4th of July here.
It's true. I mean, yeah, animals definitely don't understand what all the explosions are in the sky.
Yeah. My dog specifically too.
Yeah.
He does not like it at all.
Goes and hides in the closet and stuff. And
yeah, he'll just hide in my bathroom.
Yeah.
It's like that's going to stop the boom.
Yeah, right. So yeah, while everybody soaks in the sun and laughs their drunk away, darkness does not rest. In fact, evil doesn't care what time of year it is. We've discovered that before on this show, whether it's Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, or even Christmas. Dark stories are written during these times, and the 4th of July is no different. So today, join us as we read some truly haunting summer stories that will be sure to make you turn those lights on before you go to bed. All my true crime junkies say, hey-o. We have true crime stuff today, so it'll be fun. Anyway, sit back, relax, pop open an ice cold bevy as we deep dive into these chilling summer horror stories. Let's enjoy it.
Before we get a little dark, I wanted to ask, what is your favorite thing to do during the summer?
Wait for it to end. I'll be real. That's kind of it. I like to just do things that pass the time so I don't have to. So I can
at least you have something that's passing the time while you watch the fall season come into your own.
I am. I'm growing pumpkins this time. No, this year. I dug out my whole garden. We had a whole garden up here and I dug it all out and figured out how to grow some pumpkins. So now I got a pumpkin patch growing in my backyard and it's pretty cool. So.
Pumpkins are pretty sick.
It does just help me kind of pass the time to get to, I'm seeing it grow. And it's almost like I'm actively watching fall get closer because my harvest is supposed to be like the second to last week of September or early October. So,
one of my favorite things is actually just sitting outside while it's still fairly warm, 70, 75 degrees, sitting around a fire and just talking, hanging, drinking a beer or whatever beverage of choice you may want. I find those nights very soothing to just be outside when you can and it's not cold and freezing.
I think honest to God, I'll be real with you. I'd rather pick the sitting around the fireplace while it's snowing outside and then you're talking around the fireplace while it's snowing outside.
They both can be good. They can.
I understand. I'm with you, but I'm
being
just
in a
saying,
t-shirt and comfy, it's just nice.
I would rather be in sweats and a hoodie.
Well, don't get me wrong, I love sweats and a hoodie too, but.
No, I get what you're saying. I like how you're able to pick out good things about summer because I can't stand it, but.
Well, when you get past the misery of the day.
Yeah.
It's nice to wind down outside.
I do like thunderstorms.
Yes.
Thunderstorms, cool. I'm a huge fan of thunderstorms. I love watching them build up. I'm a big weather guy, so I love watching them build up and then just start towering over us. And I'm like, oh, is it going to get hail?
Hail can get out of here, but
yeah, I know.
I at least respect thunderstorms when there's a good rain shower in the afternoon and a lightning, what would you call it? A lightning show.
Yeah,
from your bedroom window is pretty great.
Oh, I get it.
It just lights up your room, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, going to bed with a thunderstorm is pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back into the horror around the holiday.
Yes. So our first story today, we're only doing 2 today. Sorry, everybody, but they're kind of big. So the first one is the Mad Gasser of Mattoon. Honestly, it sounds like a Batman villain.
Here we go, bringing up Batman again.
I'm just saying it does. It sounds like this could be a part of his rogues gallery. I'm just saying.
At least you didn't say, Batman Part 2.
True. All right. August 31st, 1944. Going way back when. The summer heat was at its peak. Warm sun rays beat down on the small town of Mattoon, Illinois. Kids were playing in the streets, parents grilling out in the backyard, and the sky didn't feature a single cloud. That night, the sun had gone down and everybody was asleep. But one house on Grant Avenue had a bit more of an eventful night than everybody else. Urban Rafe, the man who lived there, said he awoke to a very strange odor. He felt super nauseous and weak and even threw up multiple times. That strange smell remained in Urban's nose and crept down his throat. He immediately suspected he was suffering from some sort of gas poisoning. He woke his wife and asked her to check the kitchen stove for any sort of issue. But when she tried to get up, she found herself partially paralyzed and couldn't get out of bed. Just a few houses down the road, a woman awoke to the sound of her baby crying. She swung the sheets off and tried to get out of bed, but just like Urban's wife, she was unable to. But eventually, Urban stopped feeling sick, and both women were able to move again. Fast forwarding to the following night of September 1st, there was another incident. A small house on Marshall Avenue was home to Aileen Carney. She woke at around 11 p.m. to a sweet smell. She felt an ease, believing it was the flowers right outside of her window. It was still summer, so she tried to feel the nighttime air. However, she eventually grew afraid as she began losing all feeling in her legs. Aileen started freaking out, as you would. And her sister, who was living in the same house at the time, came running in. Aileen calmed herself and gave an explanation, to which her sister believed that the odor was coming from outside the window. The two called the police, but when they showed up, there was nothing out of the ordinary. The police left and the two sisters stayed awake until Aileen's husband got home from work. It was around 12:30 now, and Bert Carney, who was a taxi driver, arrived home. But as his lights shined on his house, he noticed a tall man in dark clothes standing outside his home, and more specifically, near one of the windows. Bert got out and quickly chased the man through the neighborhood. Unfortunately, the man outran Bert and escaped. When Bert returned to his home, he comforted his wife. Aileen was crying, saying she was in pain. She had mentioned her eyes and lips felt as if they were burning. The police had discovered rather quickly that Aileen and her sister had a large amount of cash inside the home and spent the night counting it up. They believed that the man outside the home may have seen them counting the money and was attempting to rob them by using gas to incapacitate them.
That's a crazy assumption.
Insane.
Like, you're just sitting there, just thinking, yeah, he's trying to gas us out of the house so he can rob us. That's just such a wild thing to think.
Well, I mean,
that would not be where my mind went. Maybe
Really?
with a weird smell, but not to that extent.
The partial paralysis, the eyes, lips burning, and there's a guy outside the home that the husband chased.
To me
what would you
personally,
think?
to me personally, I think that they would probably be different events.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't correlate them together at all.
Okay. Well, maybe Jake shouldn't be a detective.
Probably not.
No,
Although,
I'm kidding. I get it though.
But going back to my thought process for the Zodiac, I still believe that the anagram is the truth here.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, I wouldn't correlate them together in my eyes. Maybe it's hard to tell without being in that situation, but
Yeah.
it's an interesting thought.
Well, what do you think? Do you believe that it could be something else?
Is it two separate events, or is it one that are conjoined? And
Yeah. As of right now, what are you thinking? Type it down below, and then we'll get back to the rest of the story. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Giving you guys some time to type. Trying to get comments, man. Anyway, some of you comment and it's awesome. We love it. So if you just want to keep doing that, that's cool. Anyway.
yeah, they'll write books and they'll be like, wow, that was a crazy thought that I didn't even think of.
Exactly. I love when you guys give us your full novels because we read them. I mean, we do. So anyway, so that was what the police thought. And after the story got out that there were actually multiple calls to police about similar events. But one in particular offered something that others didn't: physical evidence. It was the night of September 5th when Carl and Beulah Cordis returned home from a date night at around 10 p.m. They noticed something placed on their porch, right underneath the light. It looked to be some sort of white cloth. Beulah picked it up and smelled it.
Ooh, not the move.
She immediately felt sick to her stomach and threw up violently. She later described the feeling as an electric shock that sent her into a burning illness episode. She later told police that she believed the cloth was put there to wipe the family dog out, who usually slept there, so that way the man could gain easily access to the home.
Dang. It's like throwing rat poison over your neighbor's fence and stuff.
Yeah.
So messed up.
Authorities also found a large tube of used lipstick on the sidewalk that was basically now just an empty tube. And along with that, they found a skeleton key. For those of you who don't know, skeleton keys are keys that have had their serrated edge filed down. These would be able to open up more locks than you actually think, especially back in the day. The cloth was taken in and analyzed, but authorities said that they found nothing on the cloth that would make Beulah react the way that she did. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, all hell broke loose in the town. It seemed like everybody was claiming that they were seeing this man outside of their window, waiting to break in and gas them. Some civilians put together a group that would patrol the streets of the neighborhood in search of the man. Others even carried guns on their walks. Things got so bad that the FBI had to get involved. They told everybody not to parade their guns around on the street and to disband any patrols for the gasser. But that didn't stop anybody. In fact, a group of people known as the Chasers would literally follow police cars so that if a call was made about the gasser, then the civilians would also be there ready to attack the man. Most of those chasers ended up being arrested due to fear that they may accidentally harm another civilian. But things were so bad that some people were even falling asleep with a gun next to them. A young woman even accidentally shot a hole in the wall of her home because she was holding a gun close to herself as she panicked thinking about the gasser.
Wow. You know, with all this panic and all the people in the town, no wonder if the police and FBI haven't even got the guy. No,
Yeah.
I'd be scared too. No wonder people are walking around with guns until this guy's caught. It is nice to hear that it's a similar story in a sense where everyone's experiencing the same guy. So if you do catch the guy, at least the horrid stuff in the town would stop.
True. Yeah.
But it's crazy that they haven't found him at all.
Yeah.
It's like, how hard can it be?
I know. So
It's wild. That's wild.
the story gets crazier. So by September 12th, with all of these false claims coming in, police had no choice but to come out and tell everybody that they believed that there was no Mad Gasser of Mattoon at all. After that, reports eventually died down. The only other call that was actually investigated was when a woman said that she was being watched by a man that was dressed like a woman outside of her home. Other than that, this whole incident was chalked up to mass hysteria. So let's take a look at the theories for this case. Some claim that there was toxic waste released in the water of Mattoon. That made people see these have these visceral reactions. The other theory was that there was an actual man that was doing all of this, but the most agreed upon theory is that it was mass hysteria. The idea being that perhaps there was one attack and it caused everybody to freak out so badly. I don't know.
You start tricking other people's minds by saying,
Yep.
hey, I saw a man outside my home, and then people start getting worrisome, right? And then all of a sudden they think they see a shadow outside their window, and
Exactly.
and then stories pile up
Yep.
of the same thing, which, I mean, that's a crazy theory.
I know. So what do you think? Do you think that this was a man that just wished to gas people in their homes, or do you think this was all mass hysteria?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm having a tough time wrapping my head around everyone having the same vision.
But what's so interesting, I think the big one that's so curious to me is if the Beulah
With
woman,
Bert, or the one before Bert?
No, the one that smelled the cloth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, So she said she literally got back from her, there was a cloth there. And she's like, what the hell is this?
That's odd.
She picks it up and she smells it. She's like, what is that? She smells it and it gives her this terrible visceral reaction where she's throwing up and all that. It's like, okay, so then what caused that? Could it be like maybe she was freaking out that that there was a gasser and she's like, what is it? Like, and her brain just played a trick on her because they didn't find anything on the cloth. Or could it just be a simple mistake in the lab and maybe there was stuff on the cloth, but they just didn't, it's weird.
Yeah, that's a good point. Plus,
it was the 1940s.
Yeah, that's true. And one thing I know, maybe Bert's story of chasing someone might have been the only one that is physical, like in that sense. But I mean, you did chase somebody.
You did. I actually disagree with your prior thing. I think that if a guy like this
with
guy
a little
wasn't
more evidence now, it's seeming like it's together.
Well, I'm thinking like, okay, so they had the money, they were counting a bunch of money. Some guy could have just walked by or was tracking them and was just like, oh my God, I'm going to take their money. But maybe he wasn't a violent guy. He's not trying to kill anybody. He's not trying to hurt anybody. So he's like, I know how to gas people to make them fall asleep.
Knock out. Yeah.
So he was trying to do it. I mean, her window is open.
I mean,
so he goes, screw it. I'm going to just make this lady go to bed and then I'm going to go in and take the money.
Right.
I think that could easily be a thing. But I do think that maybe there's one attack because obviously other people were being gassed at the beginning. Like it started with something.
Right. I just find the mass hysteria thing to be a cop out just to ease people up a bit.
When they said,
but then
we
again,
chalked it up to mass hysteria, all of a sudden everything just died down.
Maybe the guy just
stopped,
moved on.
Yeah.
Maybe he was being, maybe he actually stopped because they were close to catching him and he's like, I should probably lay low for a while.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of both. I think there was an incident at the beginning and at a certain point the guy stopped. And then all of a sudden people started freaking out and there was a bit of mass hysteria. I think that came along with it, but I do think that
possible.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a weird story. It's interesting.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mad Gasser. We haven't done anybody like gassing people on this show before. I mean, we did Comer Dobbin. That was like a nerve gas thing. But allegedly.
Not in a town where it was just a guy.
Like just a suburb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like a serial killer.
I mean, it's kind of the same as the Comer Dobbin stuff, but it's just the location's different.
It also wasn't like a test. It was like
right. Yeah, it's just potentially somebody or
just trying to rob people.
Yeah,
with gas instead of like a gun.
Yeah, it's
so weird,
so wild. But I mean, if you don't actually want to kill somebody, I mean, you either just break in and scare them, or you knock them out and take their things. I don't know. That's such a weird approach.
I know. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. Cool. To our second and final story. We are doing the Oklahoma Girl Scout murders. This one is actually pretty sad. So lock in, everybody, because this one is
I hate when kids are involved.
It was June 13th, 1977, at Camp Scott in Mays County, Oklahoma. 2 months before that haunting date, an on-site training session was carried out. During that, a counselor had discovered that her belongings had been completely ransacked. She had bought a box of donuts that were sitting on her bed, but when she opened the box, she noticed that all of her donuts were gone. Inside the box was a handwritten note. In all capital letters, the note read, "We are on a mission to kill 3 girls in Tent 1. There was a camp meeting and the director treated the ransack and the note as a harmless prank. It was then thrown away in the trash.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that lightly.
Yeah.
That's a pretty aggressive note.
Yeah. So that was 3 months. Was it 3 months? No, 2 months before June 13th. So we're now fast forwarding to the night of June 12th, 1977, which just so happened to be the night before camp officially started. 3 young girls, Lori Lee Farmer, 8 years old, Michelle Heather Goose, 9 years old, and Doris Denise Milner, 10 years old, were all gathered in their tent. Each girl was from Tulsa, Oklahoma. More specifically, they were all actually residents of the same suburb known as Broken Arrow. The girls were sharing tent number 7, which was sat in the camp's Kiowa unit. It is worth mentioning that Kiowa was the farthest from the camp counselor's tent and was even blocked by the camp showers. It was around 6 a.m. on June 13th when a camp counselor made her way to the showers. She noticed a sleeping bag laid out just before the woods started and the clearing ended. The girl quickly ran back to get the other counselors and woke them up. They all ran to tent number 7 and found that inside that sleeping bag, there were the bodies of 2 of the little girls, stuffed inside towards the bottom of the bag. Just ahead in the distance was the body of the 3rd girl. They were about 150 yards from their tent. Sadly, after examination of the bodies, it was discovered that all 3 of the girls had been raped, bludgeoned, and then strangled. The only evidence that they could find was that of a large red flashlight that was sat on top of one of the girls' bodies. On the flashlight, there was a smudged fingerprint on the lens, but unfortunately, the fingerprint was too smudged to be of any use. There were also footprints from a size 9.5 boot in blood in the tent.
Pretty small foot.
I know. So before we get into it, what are your thoughts on that so far?
Well, first off, that's very sad. And
No, it's horrible.
I hate when they bring in like raping and all that stuff because it's just
Why you gotta
too
go
over
after-
the top. It's
Yeah, why you gotta go
and
after
not to
kids,
say
man?
like killing is good or anything like that.
No,
It's
but
just
leave
like
kids alone.
literally
dude.
leave kids alone. It's so sad. They don't even get to grow up and live their life anymore.
They haven't done shit to you. And you're
Literally.
gonna be a little bitch and go do that to them.
100%. You're ruining so many lives by that as well.
If you go
With-
after kids, man, you're a pussy.
Yeah. There's a reason why people that do things to kids even get fucked up in prison.
Yeah, because even the hardest of criminals are like, you're not doing that. Even I wouldn't do it. And then
Yeah.
they just like kill their ass. They
Yeah,
do. They get
it's-
shanked and stuff.
It's so sad. And I can't imagine finding that too.
Oh, dude.
Or being the one that saw the note,
Yeah.
disregarding it,
Yeah.
and then coming back a couple months later and it actually happens.
I know.
How much guilt and like regretful feelings you must have of
Yeah.
not doing anything has got to be insane. It's hard to fathom, actually.
It is. Yeah.
You know?
It is interesting. I wanted to ask though, what would your first thought be finding out that some of your campers were found dead?
If you're the counselor,
Would you think it's one of your fellow counselors? I would.
I mean, potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got to be on the suspect list at least to be investigated.
Right.
You would think, right?
You would think.
Like, how else would they know where they're going, what they're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's some deranged parent
So
of one of the other kids. Who knows?
you want to find out?
Do we find out? A size 9.5 shoe is small, though.
It is. What size shoe you wear?
11.
I got 15s.
You're a big person.
Damn right, boy.
I'm a little over average height of a man, and I have pretty big feet, but I also know people that have pretty small feet. So let's find out.
So the investigation began. Camp Scott was shut down immediately after the incident as authorities began their search. In 1973, Gene Leroy Hart, a convicted kidnapper and rapist, had escaped from Mays County Jail and was at the time still at large. He was actually raised only a mile away from Camp Scott. Police knew that Gene Leroy Hart was a member of the Cherokee Nation, so they investigated everyone with that same affiliation. Less than a year later, they found him hiding at the home of a Cherokee medicine man. The local sheriff said that Hart was going to be 1,000% found guilty of his crime, of this murder. However, during the trial, it was deemed that the DNA evidence didn't match up or was rather inconclusive. Therefore, Hart was not found guilty by the jury in this case and went back to prison for his other crimes. And at the age of 35, Hart was lifting weights in the jail yard gym and actually had a heart attack and died. The year was 1979. The case is still officially described as unsolved, yet with new DNA information currently being tested by the Cherokee Nation and the fact that most people are still all in agreement, it seems as though the man who did this is luckily deceased. What are your thoughts?
I mean, a lot of the evidence against him in terms of like what he went to jail for, what he's done, line up with how these girls were murdered.
Yeah.
But the fact that they didn't find any and the DNA didn't match is a little weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, they didn't really have a whole lot to go off of, but, and it was the 70s.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot harder to find and DNA test certain things than it is today.
I'm going to throw out something.
But usually with rape, they can identify things because usually there's, you know, bodily fluids that are around the victims or, you know, that they can find out. It just is kind of bizarre. Easy scapegoat for the authorities, though, I'd say. Yeah. And it just is an easy finger point to this person.
Well, that's a weird thing, too. But I mean, like, okay, the guy's at large, he's around the area and all that, but
he has a connection to the place.
What I think is interesting is if, like, let's give a scenario where it's not him.
There was never mention of his shoe size.
No. But what I'm saying is I just want to say, in a case like this, let's say you have a suspect. Most of your officers are going to be trying to be like, okay, we got this guy. We got the guy. What if it's not him?
Right.
If it's not him, then you're putting all this focus into one guy while the other guy who actually did it is gone somewhere else. Like he's leaving. He's like dipping out. You know what I mean? So it's like,
still out there.
I don't know much more about the story. Like I wish that I could find out like if they interviewed some of the camp counselors to like see if they were suspects. I would have checked that, man.
Oh yeah.
I would have checked everybody's shoe size in the camp council. I mean, then maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But if they didn't, I feel like that's super irresponsible. You can't just see a guy and be like, he's at large, he lived nearby, so we're just going to say it's this guy.
Yeah, it's you know, in 22 Jump Street, right?
Yeah.
When they go and talk to Rob Riggle's character in the prison. And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's all about the tattoo and all this stuff." Mm-hmm. And they just, you know, it's put into your head that this is the person, where you lose sight of other people that could potentially be around the case as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of blows my mind that there's no mention like, yeah, we interviewed the counselors, nothing matched. Everyone seemed to have an alibi or something like that. You know, none of that.
Exactly.
It's weird.
I mean, because think about it.
It's weird.
The one thing is like, okay, if it is connected to the note at the beginning, like, how was that not investigated? Was the guy still able to, like, was he just stalking the camp the whole time? You know, was he living in the area? Like, what was he doing during this whole time? And if they knew that he was living in that area, why would they not check?
Did he escape before the note was written?
So he was at large in 1973.
Okay.
Which this story began on
in
1977.
Okay, so 4 years.
So he was at large for that long. Yeah, and then he ended up dying 2 years later.
Back in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what else is a weird coincidence, though? he died pretty young. I mean, 35 is young to have a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
His last name was Hart.
Very weird.
That's strange. We come across stuff like this where it's like, okay, yeah, it could just be a weird coincidence, but it's like, that's so weird.
You know, there is the off chance that he was the guy.
Yeah.
And karma got him.
Could be. Told him exactly how he was going to die from the day he was born.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's so weird, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When you look at it from like, you know, the 30,000 foot view,
yeah,
it's crazy to like piece all these little things like his name and his age, what he died from, all this stuff.
Well, look at the Springfield 3. When we were talking about that, there was the Cox Hospital. The lady's name was Cox, and the suspect was named Cox. And so the Cox was used 3 times, and
as three letters,
women were
3 letters in the name, 3 women. Yeah, it's just a wild thing to think about.
It's like, what? How does that even line up? You know, it's the craziest damn thing.
Well, I mean, there's always crazy things that line up.
Well, we did the actual coincidence murders.
Yeah.
Which go back and watch that if you haven't seen that, because that's a good episode. But long story short, basically this whole murder case happened in this this one spot back, like way back in the day, and then 150 years later, the same thing happened to another girl. She had a boyfriend with the same last name. She was killed in the same way, in the same town, in the same location.
Yeah, it's so bizarre.
It was like an identical murder case that happened 150 years apart with the same names. Everything involved was like the same. They were celebrating the same holiday. It was just so interesting to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like, I mean, last season we were super like cosmic, I'd say, right? Because we did astral projection. We did a whole bunch of other stuff where we were kind of looking at more of the wider lens of like the world and trying to see if there's anything.
Yeah, we were cosmic and mind focused.
Yeah. And I mean, that's an interesting thing though. This case is kind of a similar thing. It's like, I don't know. I'm just saying, it's just weird. Coincidences are weird, but anyway, so there's that. But
so nothing else ever came from that then?
No, it's still an unsolved case. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, I mean, yeah, I do want to say we started our new series on YouTube called SPN After Dark.
We did.
Which, if you guys want some atmospheric horror videos that are kind of like what we read here, we have original stories. We have stories based on true events, and we have actual true events. If you guys have any stories you want us to use for an After Dark episode, let us know. Send it to us. Mm-hmm. We'll create a little link that you guys can send stuff to us, or an email or something like that.
We still have a submissions email, I think.
Yeah, so we'll get that. Should be in the description, like how to do it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if you want your episode turned into an atmosphere, or you want your story turned into an atmospheric episode of After Dark, then let us know. They release every Friday. And yeah, they're kind of fun. So yeah. We hope you guys like them.
Yeah, very chilling.
Yeah. Be sure to check out our most recent short film, REM. That one was pretty interesting, and we hope you guys enjoy that one. It's a little artistic for us. So there's that. And yeah, anything else?
Sorry to get so dark, but have a great holiday or a great rest of your day.
Yeah. I think other than that, yeah, I mean, that wraps up our special today. We are curious to know, what do you think about these 2 cases?
Yeah, they're wild.
Do you believe that there was actually a man that was gassing people in the town of Mattoon? Do you think that Gene Leroy Hart was the man that carried out the Girl Scout murders? Let us know in the comments. We also want to take this time to wish you all a happy 4th of July to all of our American listeners. Go out, enjoy the summer day. But always remember to keep your head on a swivel.
Always, 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 always. And for our out of country listeners here, enjoy your day. Go do something fun. And we will see you guys next time for another episode of the Supernaturals. And we'll see you around the graveyard.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Supernaturals. Be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platforms. See you around the graveyard.